Hey, it's the author. It's Mr. Kent Brindley, author, South Haven resident, Grand Valley State Laker, and emotional sport human. Welcoming you to this week's Ask the Author Friday. Ask the Author Friday, as always, is my opportunity to have my weekly fireside chat with you guys, the fans, the friends, the followers, the family. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. If you'd like to participate, hit the comments section, submit a question for future weeks. Here we go. Let's get after a few questions here, shall we? Let's rate your level of sensitivity. Oh boy. 38-year-old man, my level of sensitivity, I'm giving it an 8 or a 9. I mean, my latest inexplicable emotional breakdown that I can't even explain why was a couple weeks ago. So yeah, make me pretty sensitive. I'd give it an 8 or a 9, yeah. Your first writing, my first writing project. I had to have been about 4, maybe 5 years old. My mother swears up and down that it was something called The Beam, which, I don't know. Sounds like either a mad scientist or crank commander was using a beam. I mean, what type of good could come from a beam? Now, my mother swears this was my very first writing, so must have come out before all of the He-Man, G.I. Joe fan fiction that I was attempting to write and illustrate of my own accord once the actual shows were off the air. Hopefully my prose has improved, because I know that my illustrations haven't. And I won't even try that anymore. So yeah, let's hope that my prose has improved since then. Next question. Next question, here we go. Your favorite underrated sitcom. My favorite underrated classic sitcom. 227. I still watch 227 a lot. I mean, yeah, there's Mr. Ed, there's the Brady Bunch, and there's Step by Step, but they're not really underrated the way 227. Step by Step, maybe. 227 and Step by Step, both severely underrated. I loved Full House, but it definitely eclipsed Step by Step. Your least favorite overrated sitcom. I never understood the appeal of I Love Lucy or The Cosby Show or The Golden Girls, Matlock. I just never understood the appeal, I guess. Okay, what's next? Some of your favorite underrated bands. Underrated bands. Toto or Survivor, definitely. Toto or Survivor definitely belong on the list. They just don't get enough credit. Hall & Oates. Yeah, Hall & Oates still gets a lot of credit for what they did, and they're also a great group. I think Hall & Oates still gets a lot of credit, though. So does Huey Lewis. So do Huey Lewis and the News. Yeah. All good bands. But if we're talking underrated, I'm thinking Toto and Survivor. Least favorite overrated musical acts and bands. Here we go. Now we're getting into like U2, Madonna, even Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones. I've never understood the appeal of Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones. Definitely not Led Zeppelin. I have never understood the appeal of Led Zeppelin. Then you get into the boss, me. Okay. First of all, Mr. Boss, you're not that good of a singer. Secondly, it takes a mighty big ego to refer to yourself in the third person all the time. Thirdly, who refers to themselves as the boss? It's a moniker. Fourth, the last time Mr. Boss was meeting a real to life, honest, hardworking blue collar laborer, Bill O'Reilly was meeting an actual folk. Next. Favorite G.I. Joe and favorite Cobra agents. Favorite members of Joe and Cobra. Here we go. Snake Eyes and Dusty definitely belong on the list. I gotta pick one of the women. I think Cover Girl. Cover Girl definitely belongs on the list. Cobra. Zartan and the Dreadnoks, of course. Unless you want to nitpick and say the Dreadnoks were never officially part of Cobra. Fine. I'll still give you Storm Shadow and Firefly. I mean, but definitely Zartan if he and the Dreadnoks do apply. It's my question. They apply as Cobra agents. Here we go again. Least favorite members of Joe and Cobra. Least favorite Joe and Cobra agents. Definitely Shipwreck for the side of the Joes. And you get into season 2, and Wetsuit and Leatherneck together were just obnoxious the way that they always tried to play off one another. Wetsuit and Leatherneck apart could have been just fine, but together just got way too much. On the side of Cobra, Dr. Mindbender. Serpentor. Not a fan of Serpentor. This I state. Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander. While we're on a roll with this G.I. Joe deal. My thoughts on the Cobra Commander. Militarily speaking, I feel it's only fair to say that Cobra Commander is a world-class buffoon. I mean, Cobra Commander was basically Skeletor without magic. I mean, somewhere between his stupidity, his ego, somewhere between his cowardice, his stupidity, and his ego, if not some magic combination of all three, he foiled all of his own plans and allowed G.I. Joe to come charging in, lasers ablazing, and taking names. And I still favored Cobra Commander over Serpentor. This I opine. This has been Ask the Author Friday. If you got any questions for future weeks, you can hit the comment section down below. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. Thanks. See you next week.